Hello, I'm Gail Ellis and welcome to PEPELT, Picture Books in European Primary English Language Teaching. And our theme for January is Rise Up, and our book of the month is Freedom We Sing by Amira Leon and illustrated by Molly Mendoza and published by Flying Eye Books in 2020. I talk about multiple literacies, and I would use Freedom We Sing to develop civic literacy. This is about preparing children to have the skills, knowledge, and attitudes to act in ways that are consistent with democratic values and civic principles such as freedom, equity, and social cohesion. Now, Freedom We Sing uses a conversation between a mother and daughter as a vehicle to talk about the topic of freedom, and it's written as a poem. I would use this with older primary children or secondary learners to discuss the topic of freedom and what it means to them. As a point of entry, I would ask children to think of 3 questions that question the definition of freedom. In other words, what does freedom mean to them? And use the structures, is it or can it? And I would then compare their questions with the questions that are on the back cover. Is it a place? Is it a thought? Can it be stolen? Can it be bought? And these questions are further expanded in the poem. During the read aloud, I would ask children to listen for the definition given of freedom in the poem, which goes like this. Mama tells me breath is freedom, a sweet release, the right to be, a universal sign of life and peace. Now, you may think that this is quite a challenging topic for children, but I would like to read a short extract from the interview with Amira Leon. The link is on the Facebook pages. And she says, I realized how often children are left out of difficult conversations surrounding politics, health, and race. Children are incredibly intelligent and aware of the world they live in. And she goes on to say, and we need to make space for children and equip them with the courage to start difficult conversations. Now, this links to children's rights and giving children a voice and listening to children. So you might like to use a copy, a child-friendly copy of the Convention on the Rights of the Child. This one is from UNICEF, and ask children to identify the rights that connect to the concept of freedom. And each of these rights is described in a bite-sized paragraph here, so it provides a useful reading activity. Now, Freedom We Sing is a poem, so it can also be used to develop literary literacy. This is about understanding the aesthetic nature of a literary text, so they can identify rhyming words, for example. But what is of real interest is the refrain, which is repeated 6 times throughout the poem. Inhale, exhale. And this forces us to slow down, to pause, to reflect on the words of the poem. So inhale, exhale. And it's interesting as well, the use of the full stops, because the poem, for most of the poem, is not written using any punctuation, but here the use of the full stops forces us, it gives us another signal to stop, pause, and reflect. And the poem could lead to a performance in class. And finally, I would use the book to develop visual and emotional literacy. The visuals are stunning, and many emotions are conveyed through the faces of the people. Here we have parents and children who search for a better life and show determination on their face, running from war with whatever is left, doing everything they can to protect their children and their breath, in other words, their freedom. And there are emotions of hope, of peace, of happiness, of wonder, of reflection. So lots of opportunities for developing multiple literacies. I look forward to hearing from Tasha and Annetta next, and in the meantime, stay safe and keep well. Bye-bye.